Hello, good morning. Today is January 25th. It's a Thursday. I did yesterday's intermittent fasting update on the laptop using a laptop camera, and it just did not turn out. And I didn't realize that until I tried to upload and all that. Anyway, so today's a combination of 6 and 7 of the intermittent fasting. I'm going to try to do a straight format and then do the blah 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 after that, so that if you just want that nugget, then go on to the next video. Wednesday, day 6, Wednesday the January 23rd, I weighed in at 170.6, and I've not, the last 3 nights I've not slept well. Woke up early, got out of bed early, didn't try to go back to sleep. And this didn't show up on the other video. Couldn't read it. So, and today, and I think I need to put the sleep report and the bowel movement report, because what goes in, you know, I discuss the stuff I ate and how, you know, when I ate and everything, but it's got to come out. And I think that I'm going to try to do some sort of colon cleanse, because it sounds like a mental disorder, I know, but I just want to track, I just want to make sure things aren't staying in there more than 24 hours. So to do that every so often, and I don't know, I hadn't done a cleanse in, years. So, I'm going to try some different methods and report back on that, see how, you know, how they go. And this morning I weighed in at 177.0. And I did a lot of, I moved the scale around a lot, and then I found it was like the 4 feet that it's on, had some gunk on them, so I cleaned it off, and then everything just went 190, 186, 172, it was just like, it was just kind of crazy. So I'm not really sure at this point how accurate my scale's been, and I'm going to go ahead and change the battery on it today and see if that kind of, I think that happened last time. It just kind of, it wasn't, I could step off and step back on, and it gave me something different. And moving around and changing, you know, cleaning the feet and putting it back on, it's sensitive. So anyway, we'll change the battery, put a new battery in there, and see if maybe tomorrow it doesn't do that. But Wednesdays, I think I'm going to cut myself some slack and make it a optional fasting day. Because I do my errands on Wednesdays. I have to take the boys to school. And for the past couple of weeks, I've not had to take them. Last week, it was severe weather conditions. So the schools were on a delay, and then I got a call that don't even bother. They closed. They decided just not to open the schools that day. So I didn't have to do anything last week. And the week before, my husband took them. So because I was self-medicating with all those cough medications and decongestants and allergy meds, and I slept in that day. It's rare for me to be in bed at 9. At 8 o'clock it happens, but that's not very frequent either. Normally by 7 I'm up. But the last couple of mornings I've gotten up. I'm changing the schedules on my supplements have changed all sorts of stuff, from not just my bowel movements, but it may be messing with my sleep pattern. So I did not take any of my nightly supplements except calcium last night, and went to bed early, before 10:30, and 11:30 I was up. I had to go use the bathroom, but I was still awake, and it's one of those nights where I feel like I didn't get any sleep. I know I must have fallen asleep at least for 3-4 hours, but I wake up, and I'm Not doing caffeine right now. Going back on green tea, I think, today. But I didn't do any caffeine yesterday except for a little bit of chocolate. Trying to get... Anyway, so I did a lot of errands yesterday. After I dropped off the boys at school, I went to the farmer's market and bought a basket, half bushel basket of these little apple pears. Aren't they cute? Nice little snack size. I watched a bunch of videos this week about intermittent fasting, things people do wrong, things that can trip up people trying to do this. And there's whole channels devoted to just intermittent fasting. This is just my journey on this. That we don't get enough calories, especially a lot of people have an 8-hour window to eat. And I may do that for Wednesdays, just kind of increase that. But yesterday, I broke my fast at 10 a.m. I was more active than I have been in a long time. And it's kind of pathetic because it's not very active. I definitely get over 10,000 steps on Wednesdays because I do a lot more walking. And I went to the farmer's market. Also got a lovely little watermelon for $3. Got 2 of them. Ate on that yesterday when I got home. Still coughing. Only took... stay on target. Trying to do things chronologically. Then I went to Dollar Tree. I'll do a video on my little Dollar Tree haul. I spent, a lot. But they also had LED light bulbs for $1. So I got a bunch of those. I'm switching out some light bulbs today. I wasn't buying them at $4 and $6 because they don't last. Being out in the country, there's a power spike that happens because of the distances, and we're at the end of one of the lines, not just at the end of a house line, but at the end of a long line. So light bulbs just aren't lasting, and I didn't want to spend money on something that was not going to last any longer than a regular light bulb that I can buy real cheaply, 2 for $1. Sometimes less. I can get packs, but anyway. So I got. I'll do a video on the Dollar Tree haul, and then I went to Hobby Lobby. I've kept myself from going into places like that, Michael's and Joann's, and oh, I love that. And I always got to check out the clearance. So I found something for my bathroom project, the Edison light bulb set. Normally $15, $1.50. I would have gone back if there had been another one and got it, but I wasn't sure because normally they have little yellow tags, but all the Christmas decorations were 90% off. And I bought a craft punch. And they were 40%. And I'm going to try to get back into my scrapbooking, and because that helps me. That gives me a sense. You can clean house, and no matter how clean you are and how meticulous you may be about it, it's never ending. You got to clean it again tomorrow. You got to do dishes again every single day. You got to wipe down the counters every single day. You have to make your bed every single morning. It doesn't stop, and it's got to be done. But when you craft something and you make it, it's made. You don't have to go and make it again tomorrow. I mean, scrapbooking is never ending. It's a crack of crafts because they keep making more products and improving products and papers. Oh my God. I got an issue with paper. Even junk mail, it's sometimes hard for me to let go and throw away because it's like, hey, that's neat. I can use the wine bottles on that for one of my projects, with the winemaking log. Stuff like that. So it's like, you got to be careful. So I just didn't even go down the paper aisle. I'm just like, no, didn't even look for the stuff that was on clearance. But I was in there a short time. I was killing time to 10 when the auction opened, and I'm going to share the auction fine. But I took a lot of stuff there to be sold, so maybe get a little bit of money. You never know. This is it's like gambling. I bought 7 items at the Monday night auction, 6 of those, nobody else bid against me, so they were all $2 each. And my husband's like, why did you get a toaster? Well, actually, it was a stick blender that I was wanting for my daughter's soap making. So I'm not touching that hobby. We did it together last year, but it's for her. She's trying to defer it. It's that whole mother-daughter thing going on. I think I'm a very good mother, and I don't think I crowd her. But if she feels crowded by me for whatever reason, that's legitimate. I will respect her feelings and say, okay, if we're not gonna, I'm not gonna make soap too, because then she feels that competition between us, and she wants something that's hers. I'm in so many different hobbies that and I guess she's comparing, whether I'm comparing or not. When she was scrapbooking, it was very, so we all have our different styles and preferences. It's not, we can even use the same products, and we're not going to end up with the same pages at the end. But again, that goes back to, I'm just respecting her. So she needed a stick blender, or wanted one. So I was like, okay, well, I'll pick one up at auction. Don't go out and spend $15 or whatever on a cheap one. I'll just pick one up at auction. So it's like $2. I got a little two slot toaster and a stick blender. So the toaster will probably end up back into a box if I don't find someone who needs a 2-slice toaster. And I got this at Dollar Tree yesterday. I thought it's time for another cup. And I've been using images of cups as the thumbnails for some of my videos, because I didn't like any of the images they had. So I went to the auction, and by the time I pulled up there, so I've been in Hobby Lobby. It's a big store, and I was looking for yarn, actually. I went in there for that, trying to find that green yarn, and they didn't carry that brand, and so I was like, yeah, you need to stick with the brand. You can't just go, that green looks pretty close. You can't do that. The weight may be off. You got to stick to that brand and that color. And even when you do that, when they do different lots, you can end up with the little slight variance in that color. So it's good to just get all that from the same lot if you can. And I bought those a couple of years ago. So by the time I walked the Hobby Lobby to the back corners and did all that, Dollar Tree, I went down. It's a good sized Dollar Tree. It's not the biggest one, but it's bigger than the little one that's closest to me. To see, because you never know there's some great finds, amazing stuff for $1, and there's a lot of rip-off, so you need to be aware of what you're getting. So by the time I got to the auction at 10 a.m. and I pulled in, it was a little bit before 10. Doors weren't open yet. There was a lot of people out there talking. I felt tanked. I just wanted to put the seat back and just rest. But if you don't get in there first thing, they fill up real fast on what they're going to sell at the next auction. So they were setting up for Saturdays. This Saturdays, they do every other Saturday, and they were already loaded. So I already knew from last week when I tried to take something on a Thursday. So it's Wednesday morning when they start setting up for the 2 different auctions. There's one every Monday night. And I brought a box in, and I asked if they had room for my stuff, and they were like, nope, we are just booked, filled up. And to be there first thing Wednesday morning next week. So that's what I did. I was in there. They were closed on Tuesday. They had the auction Monday night. And I don't attend the auctions. I'm too OCD. I get competitive, and certain people will tip me off, and I'll bid and spend way too much on something because I didn't want the other person to have it. It's petty. I'm not a perfect person. I'm working on it. Not there. So, but I'm sitting there, and it's like I'm feeling dizzy. My legs are feeling a little, I've just been walking. I'm walking much more than I have in the last 3-4 weeks almost. So I picked up some things at Dollar Tree just in case. I was like, okay, if I don't get home, I can have this at 2 o'clock. That was the intention, just in case. I didn't buy any sweets. I wanted some. Oh, it's 100 grand bars are another weakness of mine, and Dollar Tree has them for 89 cents. And they also have a whole pack of the little minis. And I've tried to say, okay, I can buy a whole dollar pack, and they're smaller portions, and half the pack or more is gone before I get home. So storing them away and just kind of having one little treat has not worked in the past for me. So I got a Jack Link's meat stick, and I need to read the ingredients again. I can't do Slim Jims because they do have wheat in them. Jack Link's did not used to have wheat, but I hadn't really read the labels. I realized today that I need to read those labels again. And even with my reading glasses, I need a little magnifier to read that. Ingredients on that little, you got a lot of information on that little stretch of packaging. So I ate the meat stick, felt a little bit better, still kind of off. So I took the boxes in, and then picked up my stuff that I won from Monday night. I'm going to share because it's kind of neat. Some of that stuff is really neat. I was surprised that I got them. Very surprised. I put some higher bids on some, but nobody else bid on them. So yay. But I was feeling guilty too. It's like I broke my fast at 10. And then when I finished with the auction, I sat in the car and I ate some other stuff, some coconut chips. It wasn't very many in ounces, and I ate another meat stick. It was weird. My stomach, and it's doing it again today. It's growling, and it hasn't been doing that. Not this early. Later in the day, yes, but not this early. It's 7:45 a.m. So I've not been sleeping. It's thrown off. I think it's partly because I'm not taking I'm trying not to take anything after 7 o'clock except water. Nothing with calories. Nothing that needs to be digested. So I'm taking my nightly supplements way earlier because I'm taking them right at bedtime. And then taking my morning supplements. I just wanted to show you the container. And this doesn't have my milk thistle or garlic in it yet. So four little gel caps of garlic, and then two big looking gel capsules of milk thistle has been my regimen on top of all this. So you can imagine all this and a cup of whatever in the morning. I felt full, so it was easy to go to 2 o'clock. And I've stopped doing that. So at 2 o'clock I do this, and then it's hard for me to get in calories. That's another thing. A lot of people that's doing the intermittent fasting right now, yes, it's okay. I can do a reduced calorie, very limited calorie. I've got a lot of stored reserves. But in the long run, that's not going to be healthy. So I'm trying to find the balance. To do this at 2 o'clock, and then after I eat, before 7 o'clock, do my nightly regimen. I've been trying to make myself go to bed earlier, and allowing, I'm a morning person. I wake up in a good mood. I don't even need coffee. This is just water. I may brew some tea or make some chai. Do my own chai. I do my own spice blend for the chai that I make. So I'm going to start reporting on bowel movements. Because that's important. What goes in, it's got to come out, and it should come out comfortably. In the bowel movement video, I was having 2 comfortable bowel movements every day, and certain things would throw that off earlier or more. When I was eating peaches, I was going more, and it was very loose. So last night when I got up at 11:30, I was because I needed to eliminate. Nice words, aren't they? And it was very loose, and I was trying to think what's caused that. And last night for dinner, I did the after the auction, I went to Costco's, and let's see, that would take me about 11 o'clock. And I ran into someone I hadn't seen in a couple of years or more. And got to talking, and we talked, standing in the aisle, catching up on people, mutual friends that we knew, and he told me about his wife and kid, and his child is now going to college, and so we're just sharing some stuff about what's happened at they used to go to our church, and they moved further out, and where he's at now, and what he's doing at the church that they're members of, and just talking about church. Church movements, and books. I mentioned this in other things. I couldn't find my copy. My husband doesn't know where his copy is. We have 2 copies floating around somewhere, or in a book of boxes in the building at our other location. It's got a couple of other things, which I'll do an opening. So now I've got a 3rd copy. Definitely going to do a book giveaway on this one. And I will have to ship this from my home instead of just ordering something off of Amazon and direct shipping it to somebody. And so I was telling him about this book and highly recommending it because it is one of those that I go back and reread. And I bought a bunch of supplements. A bunch of more supplements. And that really, it cranked them up, even though some were on sale. I'm going to try doing higher doses of B12. I always make sure we got magnesium. Got 2 of those, they were on sale. And we go through it before it goes out. I had run out of this, so I got 2 of them, and they were on sale. So I was like, yes. So I went ahead and got 2. And I also picked up this. So I'm going to try the 2 to see which one if I feel any difference. I'm going to change up my supplement routine. Not just the time, but what I'm taking. And I'll be redoing those soon. I do 4 weeks at a time. I put them in these little containers. I got enough to do 4 weeks. Actually more, but the drawer I put these in, 4 weeks is what fits in there comfortably. And so, but I'm going to change that up and just do 2 weeks and have them with, every night I'm having to opening several bottles and doing my night supplements. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in that drawer, so that cuts it to 2 weeks, which is fine because I'm going to do some experimenting. And like I said, if I don't see an effect in that time period, I don't continue on. So I've been taking high dosages of copper, and I'll go into that in another video. But I've been doing that for months, so I'm not going to keep that. I probably need to do selenium for the thyroid condition, so need to get some of that. And then I bought this at Costco, and it's got 12 different strains of good bacteria. So I'm going to include that in my dailies. So I ended up talking to him for a long time. So I was at Costco's a lot longer, and I did take a couple of samples that were safe for me. I've learned to read all the ingredients. So they were putting out some stuff. I thought, I can't have wheat. So unless there was some wheat in those meat sticks, which could be, because you got to check them periodically or every time because recipes change. So I did that. I bought a Mediterranean tray of antipasta for dinner, along with some trays of prosciutto and salami, just a meat tray, and some iceberg lettuce, romaine lettuce. It's rare I buy iceberg. Romaine lettuce, and then a package of super greens, baby spinach, kale, and Swiss chard, the organic blend. because my husband loves salads. Uh, I wanted to find a big bag of collards or kale that he likes, and we could do the warm salad that I could have. So I ended up at Costco's a lot longer, and I walk every aisle just to get steps in. And that's my Wednesday routine. And I was looking at cameras, trying to do things, and I was looking at various other things. I found a couple of carpets for my bedroom remodel, which I was really, really happy with. I love the pattern. I love that. And I have to choose a fabric that I'm going to use for my closet. And I'm taking the doors off that the cabinets I'm using for my closet. And so I was kind of like, this is kind of in line with what I have in mind. So I ended up spending a lot of money. I was hungry, even though I broke my fast at 10. This was around noon. I didn't leave Costco's until after 1:30, and I got gas, and then was on the way home. And I ate some. Ended up buying a lot of snacks. So definitely, maybe Wednesdays I need to be careful before I go into Costco's. Have a list, be a little bit more vigilant. But I was just like, ooh, that looked good. Bought another huge 256 gig jump drive that I was going to use for storing videos onto. So back to mistakes people make on intermittent fasting. There's, again, a lot of videos, channels dedicated to it, a lot of deep information. And they were right. I'm not getting enough calories in. We definitely don't get enough produce, fresh raw produce, because it's like that 5-hour window I am eating the whole time. And I did that the first day, and I was like, okay, I need to just be a little bit more restrained and have like 2 little meals. And they're too little. But my husband and I sat together and using we each ate half of a romaine heart with our all these olives, which are great for my thyroid. So I had all these different olives to try and sample and see, which one I like. There were some marinated artichokes and marinated mushrooms and these little peppers with mascarpone and some other stuff in the. Oh my God, they were good. Cheeses. There were some cheeses on the tray too, and then the meats. Oh, I love prosciutto. Salt and pork and thyme. Incredible, incredible stuff. Definitely something I want to learn to do ourselves somehow, if possible. What we have in the South is country ham. It's extremely salted. I mean, buried in salt for a time. So that is not prosciutto. And these are so little. It's almost like all the work to, because the skin, I ate one yesterday, and the skin is still too thick. Some of these apple pears, Asian pears, Korean pears, Japanese pears, they've got all, they fall, there's so many varieties now that's on the market. That, you need to try. And and this one may have been, if it was allowed to get bigger, but these are so tiny. These are not the normal size. And the ones that get at the Korean grocery store, they're huge. Too big for one person to sit down and eat, really. And so I left some of these with the grandkids. And that's another thing. On Wednesdays, I have to go back out after I come home. So I get home a little after 2 o'clock. Make sure the refrigerated and frozen stuff gets put away. I have them in cooler bags because I'm 40 minutes or more from Costco's, and then I may want to stop somewhere on the way home. I didn't. I just came home that day. Sometimes I do. So get home, and then my husband normally, he hears the alarm go off, so he comes back and he helps me unload. And I was like, no, it's okay. I'm going to just do this, get this done bit by bit. But he's like, no. So I already carried in most of the refrigerated stuff. So I told him the cooler bags in the back need to come in first. So take care of those. And he's like, you were hungry, weren't you? Because he saw all the food, a big old bag of potatoes, a big bag of carrots, a big bag of onions. We were out of onions. The onions I like to use, these big old round things. Goodness, I can't remember. I think I bought garlic too, a big bag of garlic. So he's bringing stuff in. He's like, well, the little bags and the auction stuff, he's like, I'll just leave those in the car. That's fine. And the Dollar Tree stuff, he just left them back there. He made sure all the food things came inside. Because, and you know, Costco's and Sam's Club and BJ's, I've got one of those in your area, they don't give you, you know, they don't do bags. So I keep bags and cooler bags in my car. And even with, like, this is actually, that one's from Dollar Tree. I like to, you know, if I see some cute little pattern and doesn't have Dollar Tree all over it or whatever, you know, Kohl's or, they're good bags to have, and those little Dollar Tree bags are worthless. I got a thing of hand soaps out there that the bag already was messed up, and you can stay in the car along with some bleach that I'll unload today and bring the auction stuff in. So I may need to just go ahead and break my fast around 11 or 12 o'clock on Wednesdays. And I definitely need to make changes to my supplement taking and make sure I get them in. But I'm really targeting, like yesterday I only got 5 hours of healing time. And that's what this fast is more about than the intermittent fasting thing itself. I want to make sure my body gets many hours of healing time daily. On the 5-2 fast, I didn't feel like I was getting enough of that. Even on a regular, if I stop eating at 7 and the next day I eat breakfast at 7 or 8 o'clock, I still got 2 or 3 hours of healing time. But even in our sleep, you know, that's I think it's important to get more healing time in. And especially with all these different conditions that I'm dealing with, I don't know what the magic, I don't even think there is a magic bullet. There is no supplement or a combination of supplements that's going to heal me. Avoiding certain foods and increasing other foods is not going to, getting enough sleep, meditating. I wasn't able to sleep very well. I was laying there in bed, and I used to get really frustrated and go ahead and get up and do some stuff. There's I'm going to make a whole video on sleep deprivation and proper sleep and what's worked and not worked, and now I got to go back and rework what was working for me. And taking those supplements at 9 o'clock, my nightly supplements helped, but now it's like I can do it at 7, and it's okay to go to bed early. Where none of us, you know, I think most of us are functioning with not enough sleep, and that's really it's really critical. Sleep is very, very important. And I'm also wondering if I'm going into a manic phase, and it could. But my sleep problem is I just can't turn my brain off. All these ideas, I mean, it's like, oh, I have some brilliant ideas. I want to get up and at least write it down. And then you're having to start that whole getting to sleep process again. I tried doing the 4-7-8 breathing. It doesn't seem to work for me. I'm maybe not doing it long enough. I keep trying to do it as long as I can, and it's not working for me. I do a different type of meditation breathing, and that helps. That helps a lot more of getting my brain to settle down a little bit. And then, you know, I'm settling down, all of a sudden this idea pops in my mind. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, just got to remember that in the morning. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. but I've got some ideas going on, and there's so many different projects. And I'm teaching someone to cook this Saturday in 2 days, and my kitchen is a wreck. That is something that really irritates me more than anything else. The rest of the house can be, Hoarders Anonymous. Not so anonymous. But my kitchen, I need to be able to work in there and cook. And part of doing the antipasto thing yesterday was I was like, just open the trays and eat. So that is something, again, today we still got the antipasto trays. We're going to be eating off of that for a couple of days. This was actually a party tray, but I was like, I've never served that at a party. That's something we're going to enjoy ourselves. So that's what, I don't have to worry about cooking, so I'm going to do some good cleaning in there and getting things set up. And the work island that I have, I got some ideas about that. I need to make it a little bit more functional for me. And having someone here, and she can't decide on what she wants to cook. And it's like, if I forgot in the freezer, sure. And I signed back up for the produce co-op now that I can have, because most of the stuff, half of it was the brassicas, the cruciferous veggies. So now that I know I can have them if they're cooked, I signed back up. It was like, yay, it's been months and months. September, maybe August, last time I did it. So for $25, I get this huge laundry basket full. And I even got a laundry basket at auction that the handles are much better, because the cheap baskets that I was using, they were big enough and strong enough, but your hand couldn't go all the way through, so you're lifting things like this, with your fingers in there, and it was very painful because it's very heavy. And I'm taking my little wagon, collapsible wagon, because it's a lot of work. And the lady was telling me, you don't have to even worry about that. Just hang out with us, because we got a whole bunch of young people now that can do all that. But we're all supposed to contribute work. We're supposed to help sort and fill the baskets. And that's part of why the cheap price. They don't pay somebody to do that in. So, again, long video, but I'm doing the format change, definitely, and I think it's better to do it in the morning, first thing, and just report the weight, report the bowel movement, report the sleep, or lack of sleep, and then report on how the eating went the day before, the last 24 hours. So those changes, definitely. I think I got everything covered. Maybe too much? Probably. Thanks for joining me on this journey if you stayed to the end.